Hi, here we go, and it's another video from that genius scriptwriter from the north of England. Yeah, I've written films, but I've not had any made, but that's a long story. Oh, God, I'm so beautiful. Right, on with today's show. Again, the general gist of St. Jude Media is I want your money, and your subscriptions, and your donations, and your love. I've used that line before on another video, but anyway, here we go. So, we have the big event, but we need characters. So, everything in film writing is interconnected. I read a really good book on doing a lot of work on writing your characters and making sure that they are solid and strong and realistic. I've got books over on my bookshelf there, which is a pretty good place to keep books, although I do keep them on the floor and other places, on character arcs. Now, I read an awful lot of psychology, and I read an awful lot around people's personalities, and I ask myself a lot of questions about why do people think like that? Why is their belief system? Okay, I have books on scripts that people live by, and I'm a big fan of Karen Horney's Tyranny of Shoulds. I love that concept. It's you develop your beliefs from the moment you're born, and probably before then, because your parents impact on you and so on. The most important advice I can give is make your characters consistent. I don't create new characters, although there is that. All the characters in this film are fictitious, and any similarity to real people is accidental. Otherwise you get sued. Yeah, I don't want to be sued because I haven't got any money to be sued for. So, my characters tend to come from conversations I have with people, but also you throw in a lot of psychology and a lot of other characteristics, so I tend to merge and blur and steal people and their ideas, but the characters have to be consistent. Your characters cannot act lots of different ways in lots of different films. They can only act in one way. That has to be, because people will call you out and go, ooh. Your character won't act like that. They won't do that in that situation because that is just so far removed from real life. So, or real people, or it jars with their personality. So your characters have to be consistent, and they have to react in a specific way that is believable. So whilst I admit that I don't spend hours and 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 hours building up a huge picture of a character, I do spend time ensuring that my characters act consistently. Okay, the book's on character arcs, and you'll find that I'm going to be really critical of films, and this is possibly why I haven't had a film made. I don't do happy endings. That's it. I'm a miserable bastard from the north of England, but when you think that the north of England is not the happiest place, it's a real place, it's a realistic place. And so happy endings and people having happily ever after, and that's why I don't do rom-coms. Plus also, I could never write a rom-com. But the bigger thing is, if you're writing a scene and your character is acting out of all context to everything else they've done, it will jar. People will call you out for it. So do your research, talk to people, listen to people, build up a picture of what people do, and then change it, because otherwise they'll sue you. Because if it's too obvious, you will lose your house. Keep your characters consistent. Brilliant advice from a genius who loves writing and just wants you to give him your money. This is a film for you. Thanks. Ow, I've got to do that because I'm using dodgy equipment.